Hello everybody, my name is Christian Quick, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about two things. allowsSpawning, which is basically just allowsSpawning, and the other one, which is going to be really interesting, is going to be talking about dropsLike. So sit back in your seat, because the second one's going to be really interesting, and I'm going to try and explain it in a reasonable manner. And we can also say hi to Billy, but we're not going to be using Billy in this video, so he'll just be in the background, leave him alone. Alright, and welcome back to the code. We are going to be copying the animated block because that is my most basic block. We're going to be calling Mr. M-Y-S-T-E-R-Y. Mr. I still spelled it wrong. M-Y-S-T-E-R-Y. And then M-Y-S-T-E-R-Y, mystery. And then pass.create, we're going to have, so let's talk about the allowsSpawning. So it's going to require a predicate. And then if I try and type in P, I was going to do P for predicate, but then there's the abstract block state. I would not try this. I think this one will actually crash your game if I am mistaken. This is a lambda expression with little the arrow, but on the inside we could just write in true. If you still find out issues, the best thing you can do is if you start having issues in your code and you know that it's a block setting, you can just reference other things that you're looking at. So obviously you could go to your Minecraft, look at the double shift, allows this to open. Always remember to use to check the include non-project items before you look up whatever it is you're looking for. But then we go in our thing, because I guarantee that I think for the way they have it is they have something like this where they have an always statement. But if I look up the allowsSpawning, you can see how it says blocks on never, can spawn on leaves, and so if I go on to can spawn on leaves, oh, that's interesting. An ocelot and a parrot are the only thing that can spawn on leaves. I don't even know what that block was for, but probably like jungle leaves or something like that. So just kind of going into Minecraft code, and then obviously because it's type, it's talking about an entity type. You can actually make this whatever entity you want, but you know, just kind of look at the code, try and get a little familiar with it, and just kind of work what it is. We already talked about in the last video how you can copy over methods, and then how you can change the name. So anything that's in purple, the entity type is talking about Minecraft stuff, so then just change the purple name to whatever you want. But we did talk about how when you're copying over a class, how you will have to call that when you put the method in here, that you're going to have to make sure that you're calling the class name. So I'm going to say that. You know, I'm going to say that again just to make sure, because sometimes that can be seen as confusing. So, allowsSpawning. So I set it to true. You could always set it to false. I'll set it to true because, I don't know, what more to the mystery than something that could possibly spawn on it. The other one that we're going to be looking at is dropsLike. And this one is called, they labeled it source, and I like how they did this. So in dropsLike, we are going to name a block. So usually it's block, but source is because it's coming from something, I guess. But what's mainly important is the capital letter, because your capital letter is the class it comes from, and then the lowercase letter. It could be literally called anything. It's just a variable name. So let's get a block, because that is what we need, no matter what the variable is called. So we can do like blocks dot, and then if I said something like frosted ice, right? We know that in Minecraft, if I break frosted ice, or even if I just make this regular ice, if you break this with your hand, it'll drop water. But with the way that it is on here, the source that it is talking about is not the actual class file. It is taking it from the JSON files. So this will not drop water, because in the JSON files, it doesn't say to drop water, because that's an onBlockBroken. That is a method that's put in the class of the unique block, and it doesn't look through the classes. So if I set this to a diamond block, you cannot break it with your hand, because in the block settings, so like, because I don't have the, you know, obviously if I tried to break this with my hand, would it work, would it not? I actually, you saw in the intro video, I broke it, I actually had it set to blocks.diamond, and you saw how I picked it up, because it is going to take your block settings and then it's going to attach the diamond block JSON file, so what's called the loot table, and then it's going to attach it onto these block settings. So Minecraft has their diamond block, and their diamond block has a what's called requires tool. So you need at least I think an iron pickaxe to pick up a diamond block. That would make sense to me. But because we don't have that requires tool on our thing, we'll talk about it in the next video but because we didn't put requires tool, we are allowed to break it with our hand, and it'll give us the item. And then another thing about the JSON files with loot tables, I know we didn't really talk about JSON loot tables yet, but eventually we'll get there. Just kind of stick with me here. The other thing is, like, if I said stone. So if I break stone, you obviously would need a wooden pickaxe, but we just established with the diamond with the diamond block that if I don't have the settings in here, that it would drop the diamond block. But here in stone, if I, we do know that it would drop, but in the loot tables of the thing. So let's just kind of grab those three examples. It'd probably be easier to kind of show it a little bit too. So let's kind of start back with the data Minecraft. We're going to go into loot tables, blocks, and then let's look up the ice for a second. So basically, ice says there is only one role of the entire thing. And it's basically saying only if the condition is that it matches the tool that has the enchantment of at least minimum of level 1 of Silk Touch, really. So that enchantment is Silk Touch with a minimum of level 1, it will drop ice. Otherwise, it won't. So if I did actually change this back to, ice, only if I had Silk Touch would I bring it up, but we'll bring it again up as I talk about the stone. But you'll see how it doesn't say, that on block break, make it water, because that's actually in the class. So if I bring up like ice block, it should be after break. Block state, world get, blocks movement is liquid, melt. Well, it doesn't say exactly what. There it is. Get melted state. Okay, there it is. World dot get melted state. So, and that is basically saying blocks of water. That is a very weird way that they put it. But you know what? I didn't type it. But there it is. It's in the class that says drops of water, not the JSON file. So then, like I said, if we go into in our thing, we do have a requires tool. So anything, I don't need to pull it up. We know this in Minecraft knowledge. But then if I go into the stone, so let's look up the stone block. And so what we know in our knowledge that I told you is that if in our dropsLike is following our thing, we don't have requires tool. So if I drop this, if I break this, it will give me cobblestone, because in our JSON files it says that basically if you have Silk Touch, drop stone. If you do not have anything, items, conditions, just drop. Survives explosion, that's the only condition. So this is basically if you have Silk Touch, drop stone, otherwise drop cobblestone. Basically how that is. A random sequence is something that is new. So if you're used to looking at old JSON files and you're wondering with this random sequences, in 1.20 they changed it so that they changed something with the loot tables of everything. So just kind of be cautious of that. But with that, without that out of the way, we can just kind of load in the world and we can break our stone. We can add some Silk Touch to it. But you can play around, you can kind of question yourself, just kind of go through the blocks and think, when something drops, is it dropping because the class is saying to drop something, or is the class saying so, or is the JSON file? Obviously with JSON files, like how I can pull it up on the side there, you can easily just pull it up. Really, it's no big deal. So let's go into creative, because I want to pick block this. And then here we have it drop stone. And then obviously I need something Silk Touch on my hand in some sort of way. I'm kind of curious now. If I do /give at s and then I say diamond shovel per se, and I say /enchant at s, Silk Touch. Now this is just me messing around testing. Do you think it'll drop the stone or the cobblestone? It drops the stone. And the reason why it drops the stone is because, once again, in requires tool, you can actually specifically mention what tool you want to set it to. And I didn't set it to any tool, so obviously anything with Silk Touch will work. So there is all that. I guess I can show you what it looks like basically. So we have, this is tags. So we have our data, Minecraft's tags, blocks, mineable, and then here is where I'm talking about that if I said dot requires tool is basically what it's called. If I just want to throw this in here, this is going to be bonus information. We'll talk about this again later. Requires tool. Now I need to have it in one of these files. And if I want it done by shovel, pickaxe, hoe, or axe, that'll be the selected tool that I choose. I can put it in multiple files and then have like an axe and a hoe be able to break it, but a pickaxe and shovel can't. Just kind of whatever boat makes your goat float. But because I didn't have this requires tool in there at all, normally our stone is inside of the pickaxe for the stone breakable stuff. Well, the wooden. So the wooden breaks the stone. So not having it on there really gets it in there. This is a little bit more of like a talking rant, and I wanted to give a couple examples so that you kind of like make sure that you have the idea. If you are still having any troubles whatsoever, just kind of ask me in the comments below. I'm here. I'm around. I don't feel like I'm going anywhere anytime soon. I might get busy pretty soon, so I might be slow at responding, but hey, at least you're getting a response, right? Maybe. If not me, then someone else, I hope. Wouldn't want to leave you in the dark. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can ask me down in the comments below. I'll try my best to get to them as best as I can. But without further ado, I think that's going to wrap up this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. There's Billy. Bye, Billy.